What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. This is ARCa coming at you with a VIRI technicals, raw price action, and statistical threat of analysis on this happy Monday. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community in Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's dive right into the charts. Okay, team, so we are looking at VIRI on the 3-day chart here. And in fact, if we can actually just move on to the, let me pull up this chart right here, because if you were actually live with us today, then you would have known that this was the support that we were essentially waiting for before a bounce to the upside, right? So we were talking about 181 or 180 to the area of 177, right? So that would be the 272 at 180 to a relevant support down here at that 177, of which we do have some relevance at the 177 based on other Fibonacci retracement levels, right? Right here, the 2 fib at that 177, right? So a combination of a few time frames here, but it's all good. And we ended up getting that very nice bounce from that zone right there. Okay, so if you were able to see that bounce or to, to long that bounce, then you are currently up about 8.5%, right? So that's pretty interesting. I mean, considering the fact that we actually dipped all the way back down to that, let's see, the low of 179 to 194. I mean, that's a multi-tick point to the upside. So not bad whatsoever in the judgment from our part in the live situation, right, guys? So I love it. I do have to say, however, that it looks like we're printing some other type of formation here. Okay, so I haven't actually really dove into this because there is it's just the formation. I don't like typical, the formations aren't always the best thing to look at, right? So this right here, let me just go ahead and show you real fast what could be happening here, right? So it is a strong possibility that we're in the process of building an inverse head and shoulders, right? We got an inverse herpy-derpy, and that could be in line for, I mean, I'm just saying, you guys, that it's a potential formation that does have a bullish outlook to it, and we can take a price objective from it, right? So it's only backed by psychological metrics. It is not backed by any means in any mathematical sense, right? So from the center of the head, right, to the top side of the neckline here, we can go ahead and take a trend line and then apply it to the top side of the right shoulder. Okay, so this formation would essentially tell us that we have a thrust to the upside that can end up at about $4.33, which is absolutely massive, right? And it's sharing some confluence too, right, with the bottom side of this candle here, the opening of this candle, the bottom side of this wick here, and many other candles right up in here, right? So that 430, 433 area looks to be of high relevance. Okay, so in spite of that, let's just go ahead and take a resistance zone from here, right? So I'm going to go ahead and take into consideration the 2 fib at 402 right down here to the top side of about 431, right? So let's go ahead and now take that into consideration here. We'll draw that resistance just like that, and now we have an area to look out for the coming days, right? As soon as we are actually able to recover here, I am not seeing anything, just to be very clear with you, I'm not seeing anything that actually would suggest a capitulation. In fact, we're getting good news left and right for the asset, right? So this is a very good thing. And I do think that this could be a very nice opportunity to reaccumulate here and then continue onwards and upwards, right? So let's go ahead and move on and see what else we have to show right here, team, because I do think that, oh, right. Actually, within that same chart, this one here, okay, team? So I want to go ahead and talk to you about the backtest, the volatility versus momentum backtest that we performed here throughout the entire trading history of the asset on the 5-day time frame, okay? So with this in mind, we actually have concluded this, we've actually matured this signal, right? So, and the reason I can tell you is for the following, okay? Oh, actually, no, we're still good. Wow. Okay, good. I thought I actually saw that we entered the critical volatility zone again. So the criteria here is that any time that we have expanded into a critical volatility zone and then started a contraction phase from volatility, that paired with stochastic momentum, that has actually led to a move or an average upside of 64.76% to the upside, right? So now, if we go ahead and just measure that, to the current price action here, you can actually see that this would be let me see. So sorry, it was 64%, 64.76, right? So let's just go ahead and lift it just a little bit here. So 60, I can't get it. Let me see, right? I guess that's going to have to do it. 6466 is close enough, right? So the target that this was suggesting was $2.52. We had the one spot 272 at 253, and the price action ended up coming to a high of 242, measuring, let's see, it actually completed 58.28% of the 64% move on average. Okay, so that, I mean, team, that's like a 95% accuracy in what we were looking at, right, for the move to the upside. So it's just again, I have to express how frustrated I am because of what happened in that overreaction. And again today, right, we actually got a good news and then an overreaction to the downside. I feel like that was just any excuse to bring the price action to the downside. So I don't see any reason why this ticker should be facing any downside at all, right? So also, let's go ahead and just take a note here that we have 33% ADX, the dotted white line, and that actually gives us that whenever we are at 25% and up, that's usually strong market trend to whoever is leading the pack. So in this case, DMI plus, which is AKA bulls, DMI minus, AKA bears, right? So you can see that we have absolute DMI support for this statistical move to the upside. Volatility versus momentum is indicative, or I'm sorry, is reliant on this metric as well. Okay, so I mean, we're there. Right, we're starting to contract here. We're starting to pivot towards the upside here. This move may not be done. The upper bound of the first standard deviation may be what to look out for, right, team? And that would be 125% to the upside. One thing I forgot to tell you, right? We faced this. Let's see, 250. I'm sorry, that's 243. Let me get this up higher to the price action that we faced today. Oh no, we faced the price action at 242, right? Yeah, so 242, that's not bad. That measured 57.87%. But when we're speaking of the 68% of the performers here, the standard deviation, that actually told us that we would be 60.24% to the upside. So seeing that this was at about 58% of the 60.24, that's about a 98% accuracy to just correct myself, right? And so even still, right? So I'm kind of impressed here, right, over the statistics, what they had to show for us. And that shows that we are, in fact, following a certain trend here. There is a behavior, there's a character for this ticker. All right, so yeah, I think, team, that we have no reason to capitulate here. If we do come down any lower, then that would be indicative of a reaccumulation before an upside continuation. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the last part of the analysis, which is actually going to be the RSI. And this is the reason why I'm telling you that we may be at a bottom or close to one, okay? So this is the 30-minute immediate short-term time frame. RSI signal is crossing upside of the SMA 14. This is a standard RSI setup, right? Relative Strength Index. And this is a very bullish cross, right? So now let's go ahead and take a look at the hourly time frame. It also has a pivot towards the upside, but you may be wondering, well, ARCa, the SMA 14 is above you. Isn't that a resistance? Wouldn't we actually top out at that and continue to the downside? Well, technically, yes, but there's something that we have to keep into consideration. It's a very short-term time frame, and we're approaching the gravitational zone of the bear weakness percentile. That usually would have us succeed the upside. So if we're able to get that thrust to the upside, we'll succeed the upside of the SMA 14 and come back and validate the SMA 14 as a support, and then continue onwards and upwards. Okay, so as you can see here on the 4-hour time frame and the 4-hour time frame and the 8, that the downside pivots are not as profound here, right? So as you can see, we're barely crossing below the SMA 14 here. What I can see here is that we're in the gravitational zone, which means that we can be faced with an ever slight downside here, potentially find the gravitational zone of the bull weakness percentile right in here, and then bounce to the upside. Why can I say that? Because of this right here. The 12-hour time frame is about to reach the SMA 14 in the gravitational zone. So we'll be able to find that SMA 14, bounce to the upside, and then continue onwards and upwards, right? So from this area here, the daily time frame would actually not even touch the SMA 14. It would come down ever so slightly and then bounce to the upside, thus continuing the trend that the 5-day already has in line for us. It is now in the bullish control zone, the bull strength percentile, and and actually the SMA 3, the 3-day SMA 14 is currently being tested as support right now. We're very close to the gravitational zone of the bull strength percentile here, team. So that's really what I'm kind of looking at here, team. Okay, so I just I want to practice extreme discretion here, right? But I want you to also be careful in the markets, right? So this is a very turbulent time. I do think that any time that we get any broader market upside, then your smaller to micro cap assets will face potential downside pressures when we have that upside, right? So I am expecting a pullback from the broader markets come Tuesday or Wednesday, somewhere around there, and then we would actually see. Then we would actually see some type of reaction in the small cap area for a potential upside, right? So I just want you to remember, team, first and foremost, that I am not a financial advisor. I want you to take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. Okay, team, I need you to do your own due diligence and everything will be cool. But with that said, team, I wish you well, a very, very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.